Early life and family background. James Abram Garfield was born on November 19, 1831, in a humble log cabin in Moreland Hills, Ohio. His family was of modest means, with roots in New England. James's father, Abram Garfield, was a farmer and a veteran of the War of 1812, but he died when James was only 2 years old. This left his mother, Eliza Ballou Garfield, to raise him and his siblings in a time of economic hardship. Eliza was a determined woman who worked tirelessly to provide for her family, often taking on additional jobs, including work as a domestic servant. Despite their financial struggles, Eliza instilled in her children a deep appreciation for education. She frequently read to them, introducing James to literature, philosophy, and history at a young age. This early exposure to books ignited a lifelong passion for learning. By the age of 16, driven by an insatiable curiosity and ambition, James enrolled in the Western Reserve Eclectic Institute in Hiram, Ohio. There, he excelled academically and honed his leadership skills, becoming involved in debating and public speaking. James's journey was not without challenges. He often worked various jobs to support his education, including teaching younger students. These experiences not only helped him financially, but also solidified his belief in the power of education as a tool for personal and societal transformation. After graduating with honors, he continued his studies at Williams College in Massachusetts, where he was exposed to diverse philosophical and political ideas that would shape his worldview. Early career and political aspirations. Upon returning to Ohio after college, Garfield took on a teaching position at the Eclectic Institute, eventually becoming the school's principal. His time as an educator deepened his conviction about the importance of education and reform. However, he soon felt a calling toward politics, believing that he could effect change on a larger scale. In 1859, Garfield was elected to the Ohio State Senate, where he gained a reputation for his integrity and commitment to progressive ideals. His political career began to take shape during this period as he championed labor rights and educational reforms, positioning himself as a voice for the underprivileged. As the nation grappled with the moral and political implications of slavery, Garfield emerged as a staunch abolitionist. His passionate speeches against slavery and his advocacy for civil rights garnered him support and respect within his community. When the Civil War broke out in 1861, Garfield enlisted as a private in the 42nd Ohio Infantry. His military service became a defining aspect of his life, allowing him to rise through the ranks due to his leadership skills and strategic acumen. He fought valiantly in several key battles, including the Battle of Chickamauga, where his quick thinking and decisive actions saved many lives. His military successes enhanced his political profile, setting the stage for his eventual entry into Congress. In 1863, Garfield was elected to the U.S. House of Representatives while still serving in the military. This dual commitment showcased his dedication to his country during its most challenging times. In Congress, Garfield continued to advocate for civil rights and the principles of Reconstruction, pushing for policies that aimed to integrate formerly enslaved individuals into American society. His political career blossomed as he took on more prominent roles, including serving on the House Appropriations Committee. Congressional leadership and political struggles. Garfield's time in Congress was marked by his strong advocacy for civil service reform. He believed that government positions should be filled based on merit rather than political patronage, a stance that put him at odds with many powerful figures within the Republican Party. His commitment to reform was rooted in his understanding of the detrimental effects of corruption on governance. The Republican Party during Garfield's time was deeply divided. The stalwarts, led by powerful figures like Senator Roscoe Conkling, favored traditional patronage systems, while the reform-minded half-breeds, of which Garfield was a prominent member, sought to modernize the party and eliminate corruption. Garfield's ability to navigate these tensions was continually tested as he worked to advance his agenda and promote a more ethical political culture. The Republican National Convention of 1880 became a pivotal moment in Garfield's political career. Initially considered a dark horse candidate, he emerged as a unifying figure amid the party's internal strife. His nomination as the party's candidate for president was a testament to his ability to garner support from diverse factions within the party. Garfield's platform emphasized civil rights, economic development, and a strong federal government, appealing to a wide range of voters eager for change. Garfield's presidency began on March 4, 1881, amid great optimism. His election represented a significant shift in American politics as voters sought a leader committed to reform. However, he faced immediate challenges, including a deeply divided Congress and fierce opposition from powerful political factions. Garfield's commitment to civil service reform was put to the test as he sought to implement his vision for governance. The presidency, challenges, and triumphs. In his first few months as president, Garfield made bold moves by appointing reform-minded individuals to key positions, signaling his dedication to dismantling the patronage system that had long plagued American politics. He sought to implement merit-based appointments, which alienated many party leaders who relied on patronage for their political support. The political landscape was complicated by the intense rivalry between factions within the Republican Party. Senator Conkling vehemently opposed Garfield's efforts, leading to a significant power struggle. Conkling's attempts to assert control over patronage appointments put Garfield in a precarious position, and the tension between them escalated. Despite the political turmoil, Garfield took significant steps to address pressing national issues. He advocated for civil rights legislation aimed at protecting the rights of African Americans and pushed for policies that promoted equality in education and employment. His commitment to social justice was evident in his speeches, where he emphasized the importance of unity and progress. Garfield also recognized the need for economic development in an increasingly industrialized nation. He supported infrastructure projects and advocated for modernization efforts to bolster the economy. His vision for a strong federal government that prioritized the needs of its citizens resonated with many Americans who were eager for change. However, Garfield's presidency was not without its challenges. The growing discord within the Republican Party hindered his ability to implement his agenda effectively. The stalwarts were determined to maintain their grip on power, and Garfield's attempts to forge a more inclusive and reform-minded administration were met with resistance. In addition to political struggles, Garfield faced personal challenges as well. His health began to deteriorate after the stress of the presidency took its toll. Despite these obstacles, he remained committed to his vision of a united and progressive America. The assassination, a nation in shock. On July 2, 1881, Garfield's life took a tragic turn. After spending the morning preparing for a trip to Williams College, he arrived at the Baltimore and Potomac Railroad Station in Washington, D.C. At that moment, Charles Guiteau, a mentally unstable man who had been a fervent supporter during Garfield's campaign, lay in wait. Guiteau felt entitled to a political appointment and was enraged when his requests were ignored. As Garfield walked through the station, Guiteau approached him from behind and fired 2 shots, striking him in the back and arm. Panic ensued, and Garfield collapsed on the platform. Guiteau was quickly apprehended, reportedly exclaiming, "I am a stalwart of the stalwarts." His delusional justifications for his actions shocked the nation and raised questions about the nature of political violence in America. Garfield was rushed to the White House, where a team of doctors gathered to treat his wounds. The severity of his injuries became apparent, and the nation held its breath as news of the assassination attempt spread. The medical treatment he received was inadequate. Doctors employed unsterilized instruments and lacked a clear understanding of infection control, leading to severe complications. Initially, there were glimmers of hope for Garfield's recovery. He showed signs of improvement, and the public's emotional investment in his life was palpable. Daily updates from the White House became a national obsession as citizens across the country followed his struggle. Garfield's resilience and determination resonated with the American public, who saw in him a symbol of hope. However, as days turned into weeks, Garfield's condition began to deteriorate. Complications arose, and the doctor's interventions seemed more harmful than helpful. His health continued to decline despite various treatments, including attempts to alleviate his pain through unconventional methods. The public's hopes began to fade as the severity of his condition became clear. On September 19, 1881, after 79 days of suffering, Garfield succumbed to his injuries. The news of his death sent shockwaves throughout the country, plunging the nation into deep mourning. The outpouring of grief was unprecedented. Citizens from all walks of life united in sorrow, reflecting Garfield's status as a beloved leader. National mourning and legacy. Garfield's funeral became a national event, with millions lining the streets of Washington, D.C. to pay their respects. The day of his funeral was marked by a solemn procession that echoed the deep sense of loss felt across the nation. Flags were flown at half-mast, and memorial services were held in cities and towns from coast to coast. Even those who had opposed his policies acknowledged his dedication to the country and the ideals he represented. The nation's grief was palpable. Newspaper articles, editorials, and public speeches reflected a collective sorrow. Garfield was remembered not only for his presidency, but for his journey from humble beginnings to the highest office in the land. His story resonated with many Americans who saw in him a symbol of hope and resilience. In the aftermath of Garfield's assassination, the trial of Charles Guiteau became a media sensation. Guiteau's defense team argued that he was insane, citing his bizarre behavior and delusions. The trial raised profound questions about mental illness, accountability, and the nature of political violence, captivating the nation and showcasing the sensationalist tendencies of the media at the time. Guiteau was ultimately found guilty and sentenced to death. His execution on June 30, 1882, marked a moment of closure for many who had mourned Garfield's untimely demise. However, the trial also sparked a broader conversation about mental health and the responsibilities of those who wield power, echoing concerns that would resonate through American history. The impact on civil service reform. Garfield's death sent shockwaves through the political landscape, intensifying calls for civil service reform. Advocates for reform seized the moment, culminating in the Pendleton Civil Service Reform Act of 1883. This landmark legislation established a merit-based system for hiring federal employees, significantly reducing the influence of political machines and patronage. The Pendleton Act represented a significant shift in American governance, aiming to professionalize the civil service and ensure that government positions were filled based on qualifications rather than political connections. Garfield's tragic death served as a catalyst for these much-needed reforms, highlighting the urgency of change in the political landscape. In the years following Garfield's death, various movements arose advocating for political reform and social justice. The progressive era of the early 20th century saw significant changes in government practices, often invoking Garfield's legacy as a symbol of the fight against corruption and the need for integrity in leadership. Garfield's commitment to civil rights and social justice resonated with future generations. His advocacy for the rights of African Americans during Reconstruction laid the groundwork for future civil rights movements. The principles he championed would continue to influence leaders and activists striving for equality and justice in the decades to come. Reflection on values and democracy. As we reflect on James A. Garfield's life, we are reminded of the potential for greatness within each individual. His journey from humble beginnings to the presidency exemplifies the American dream. His story urges us to strive for a society that values integrity, justice, and the well-being of all its citizens. Garfield's legacy endures through various memorials and institutions established in his honor, including the James A. Garfield National Historic Site in Mentor, Ohio, which preserves his home and serves as a testament to his life and contributions. The lessons learned from his life and tragic assassination remind us of the importance of safeguarding democracy and protecting the values that underpin a just society. The evolution of American political culture post-Garfield's assassination also underscored the necessity of protecting public officials and ensuring that political violence would not become a norm. The Secret Service, initially established to combat counterfeiting, was tasked with protecting the president following Garfield's assassination, reflecting a new era of heightened security in American politics. Future leaders would be acutely aware of the expectations placed upon them and the responsibilities of their office. Garfield's tragic fate also prompted the nation to confront the darker aspects of its political culture, leading to a growing awareness of the need for reform and accountability. The evolution of American political culture. Garfield's assassination marked a pivotal moment in American political culture, leading to widespread calls for reforms aimed at protecting public officials and ensuring that political violence would not become a norm. His presidency, though brief, contributed to the evolving narrative surrounding the American presidency. The notion of the president as a symbol of national unity and integrity took on new significance in the wake of his assassination. In the years following Garfield's death, the nation grappled with the implications of political violence and the fragility of democracy. The 1880s and 1890s saw a series of high-profile political assassinations, underscoring the urgent need for protective measures and reforms. The assassination of President William McKinley in 1901 further highlighted the risks faced by public officials and the necessity of addressing the underlying causes of political violence. Garfield's legacy extended beyond his immediate reforms. His commitment to education, civil rights, and the welfare of the American people laid the groundwork for future leaders who would champion similar causes. As the nation grappled with the challenges of industrialization and urbanization, Garfield's vision of a government that prioritized the needs of its citizens remained relevant. The impact of Garfield's presidency extended into the realm of women's rights and social reform. His support for education and equality resonated with the emerging suffragette movement, which sought to secure voting rights for women. The principles of equality and justice that Garfield championed would continue to inspire activists fighting for social change. The continuing influence of Garfield's ideals. In the decades following Garfield's assassination, his ideals continued to influence American politics. The struggle for civil rights, the fight against corruption in government, and the pursuit of education reform echoed through subsequent political movements. Leaders in the progressive era drew inspiration from Garfield's commitment to reform, advocating for policies that promoted fairness and equality in society. The establishment of the National Park Service and other environmental initiatives can also be traced back to Garfield's belief in stewardship and responsible governance. His appreciation for nature and the importance of preserving public lands for future generations became a guiding principle for environmental activists in the 20th century. Moreover, Garfield's story has been retold in numerous forms of media, including books, documentaries, and academic studies. His life serves as a case study in the complexities of American democracy and the ongoing struggle for justice. Educators often use Garfield's story to teach students about the importance of civic engagement and the responsibilities of leadership. Final thoughts. As we close the chapter on James A. Garfield's life, it is essential to recognize the multifaceted legacy he left behind. His journey from a log cabin to the presidency exemplifies the American dream, reminding us that through hard work, determination, and a commitment to justice, individuals can effect meaningful change in society. Garfield's life was a testament to the power of resilience in the face of adversity. His unwavering commitment to education, civil rights, and integrity in governance continues to inspire individuals and movements striving for a more just society. In remembering Garfield, we are called to reflect on our values, to honor the principles of democracy, and to ensure that the sacrifices made for progress are never forgotten. In honoring James A. Garfield, let us carry forward the lessons of his life. Let us strive to build a society that upholds the ideals of equality, justice, and integrity, and let us work tirelessly to ensure that the echoes of his vision resonate through the ages, guiding future generations toward a brighter and more equitable future. The legacy of political reforms. Garfield's assassination also ushered in an era of political consciousness about the responsibilities of leadership. His commitment to civil service reform inspired future leaders, including Theodore Roosevelt, who made significant strides in addressing corruption in government. Roosevelt's efforts to promote merit-based appointments and reduce patronage can be traced back to the principles Garfield championed during his brief time in office. Moreover, the Pendleton Act laid the groundwork for a professional civil service that continues to shape the way government operates today. The merit-based system established by the Act is now a cornerstone of public administration, ensuring that qualified individuals are appointed to government positions regardless of their political affiliations. Reflections in art and literature. Garfield's life and tragic end have inspired numerous works of art and literature. Authors and filmmakers have explored his story, using it as a lens through which to examine broader themes of ambition, tragedy, and the complexities of American politics. From biographies that delve into his early life and political career to dramatic retellings of his assassination, Garfield's narrative remains relevant in contemporary discourse. Conclusion: a lasting legacy. James A. Garfield's legacy transcends the boundaries of his presidency. He represents the potential for change, the fight for justice, and the importance of integrity in leadership. His life story encourages us to remain vigilant in our pursuit of progress, reminding us that the ideals of democracy require constant nurturing. As we reflect on the challenges he faced and the reforms he championed, we are called to engage actively in our democracy. Garfield's life is a testament to the belief that each individual can make a difference, and his story continues to resonate with those who strive for a just and equitable society. Garfield's vision for America, rooted in education, civil rights, and governmental integrity, serves as a guiding light for future generations. Let us honor his memory by continuing the work he began, advocating for the values he cherished, and striving for a nation that embodies the principles of liberty and justice for all. As we conclude our exploration of James A. Garfield's life and legacy, we are reminded of the profound impact that one individual can have on the course of history. Garfield's journey, from humble beginnings to the presidency, teaches us about resilience, integrity, and the relentless pursuit of justice. His story is not just one of triumph and tragedy, it is a testament to the enduring values that can unite us all. In a world often marked by division and conflict, Garfield's commitment to civil rights, education, and reform serves as a beacon of hope. His legacy invites us to reflect on our own roles within our communities and to strive for a society where empathy and justice prevail over discord. As we navigate the complexities of modern life, let us carry forward the lessons learned from Garfield's story. Together, we can honor his memory by advocating for peace, understanding, and the principles that uplift humanity. Thank you for joining us on this journey through history. If you found inspiration in Garfield's story, we invite you to share your thoughts in the comments below and subscribe for more uplifting narratives. Until next time, let's continue to seek and share stories that inspire us to build a more peaceful and just world.